There's this promise at the center of American life where if you work hard, you contribute, and in return, the economy grows and you will grow with it, right? Your labor has value, your effort connects to something, and the system works because you are a part of it. That is the deal, and that is also the engine of the American dream. And I think a lot of people feel like that bargain really doesn't hold up anymore. And I think you can especially see proof of that in our current economy and specifically our job market. We're seeing one of the weakest periods of time for hiring, and yet the GDP is also growing. The stock market is continuing to hit record highs. Corporate profits look fairly healthy. And economists are now calling this a jobless boom, where an economy where all the traditional indicators look really good, except for the one that matters to a lot of people, which is whether you can get a job, keep a job, or in advancing your job. And I talk extensively in my content about the K-shaped economy where, the top of income distribution has shot upward in terms of wealth while the bottom has fallen further behind. And this is another example of that. I really think the economy has begun to reorganize itself to not need the labor of the people in the bottom half. And I think a lot of the data that we're seeing is starting to reflect that. So what happens when an entire economy is restructured around capital instead of labor? The Wall Street Journal had a really good analysis of this, and it basically talked about how a lot of today's rewards, so to speak, are disproportionately going to capital, as in businesses, shareholders, C-suite employees. A lot of the most valuable companies in America today don't own factories or employ armies of workers. Their capital, or what they invest in, is in algorithms, in platforms, in self-reinforcing user networks. And, that doesn't need the labor that other companies once had. And so not only is the current economy failing to create new jobs for people, the financial system is actively not investing in the types of businesses that would create those jobs. And on top of this, the economy isn't just failing to create jobs, the financial system itself is actively investing in the kinds of businesses that don't create those types of jobs. So you get an economy that is growing without workers, that's rewarding capital over labor, and also running a financial system that's like playing around with itself. And I think this is going to have broad ramifications, not just for the economy and consumer spending, of course, but also on the individual level, how a person relates to work and relates to their labor and, the whole contract of the American dream. And like I said, I'm very curious to see how this will play out in the coming months.